your essay, I'm looking for you to give attribution or credit to your 5 sources in 3 different ways, and we're going to review these in this video. First of all, you need to create works-cited entries for all 5 of your sources and list them at the end of your essay, just as you have been doing with your blogs. To help you with this, I've posted in Canvas an MLA citation guide, which is a library resource for you. When you open that up, you'll get a cheat sheet for popular sources like books, chapters in a book, journal articles, magazines, newspapers, and you can review this on your own. But you know that another way to determine how to cite a source is that you can go online to the Purdue OWL and just search for it in Google. Type in whatever you want to cite if you're citing a website, for instance, and you can follow, you can just move along through that site as you would any other web resource. For your library sources, depending on what database you're in, this will be in a different spot, but remember we went over that there's a cite button. Just double check to make sure that you're in MLA, and then you should be able to use this citation, copy and paste and make sure the italics remain the same and whatnot, but that should work for those 2 sources for your essay. So when you're finished, you might get something that looks like this. Here are 5 sources. Oh, I'm messing with the page. They're listed in alphabetical order, and you just post this at the very bottom of your essay. So if you do all of that, you are covered for step 1, giving credit to your sources. But we need to move into step 2, which are these in-text or parenthetical citations after you quote, paraphrase, or summarize source material in the body of your essay. So note the words after and the word, we'll get there, but the word before. So in-text citations come after quoting, paraphrasing, summarizing. In order to make these in-text citations, you need to have your works cited page completed. And let's look at this sample essay that I posted on my site in order to teach us this. So an in-text citation is going to include whatever is listed first in each of these works cited entries. Okay, so I'm highlighting you to show you the different in-text citations that we're going to need to make, and then I'm going to type it out for you in just a minute. Okay, for the first source, my in-text citation is going to be whatever the sentence is, and then it's going to be Bush, period. I'm just making myself a little cheat sheet. For this source, it's going to be whatever my sentence is in the essay, and Chen, period. For this one, you kind of probably are getting the hang of it by now. It will be Chetner, and period after the parentheses. For this one, it will be Horton, period. Oh, sorry. That will go after a sentence, of course. Okay, Horton, period. Now, this one doesn't have an author last name, but you still go with whatever the first thing listed is for the works cited entry. So we'll say National Park Service, period. And these ones, same thing, but now we have quotations, and these are kind of long. So let me give you a little bit more help. You would have your sentence, oops, and then you would do quotation mark, Oklahoma City, period. And then for this last one, similar, it would be sentence, parentheses, research, history, period. All right, now typically you might see something like Bush 35. Right, you see where I'm typing now? And that is if you have page numbers. But this article doesn't have page numbers, so you don't need those. If there are page numbers, include them. If there are not, this is a good enough cheat sheet for you. Okay, let me just reiterate. All of this stuff that I just highlighted, these cheat sheet in-text citations, they're not staying in this list. These go in the body of the essay if you remember. Item number 2, after you quote, paraphrase, or summarize any source material in the body of your essay. Okay, so let's look at that sample essay again and see where this writer has done that. I'm not seeing any parentheses up here. And I'm scanning. Okay, right there I see Oklahoma. Now this one has actually been done incorrectly, because if we hop back over, we see that it should be parentheses, quotation marks, Oklahoma City, quotation marks, parentheses, period. But still, we are getting the gist of it. And then there's a lot of content, and here it is again, so it would need to be done correctly. There's Horton, Chetner, and what this says to me, Bush, is that everything before this set of parentheses is from Horton. Everything before this set of parentheses is from Chetner. Everything before this set of parentheses is from Bush. And so that's how you can go about placing these into your writing. Okay, we have one more way that we need to start showing attribution for this first essay, and that is through signal phrases. So in-text citations are at the end of any quoting, paraphrasing, or summarizing, but signal phrases are at the beginning or before you quote, paraphrase, or summarize. You can think of these as introducing the sources to your readers before you provide content from the sources. Let's just go to Google really fast. Let's type in sample signal phrases, and I know that's out of view, but I swear I'm typing it. Sample signal phrases, and okay, now you can see it. Let's go to, look at that. A phrase, clause, or even sentence which leads into a quotation or statistic. You never want to just jump right in. You always want to lead in. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pause and take a phone call. Let's just click on any of these links. So this one I was reading from would be fine. Okay, I like this definition of a signal phrase up here. It leads into a quotation or statistic. It could be summarizing or paraphrasing though. And they'll include, the name, some justification for using the person. So it just gives a little bit of information about the source to help the reader understand why the source is being integrated. And then look at some of these samples. In the words of so-and-so, as so-and-so has noted, comma, so-and-so, a da-da-da-da-da, points out that this, the quote writes so-and-so. And you can read some of these on your own. And here are some great, if you click on any of these sources from the Google search, you're going to get these suggested terms for creating strong signal phrases. One helpful way to sort of recap these last two ways of giving attribution, it's sort of cheesy, I know, but it might help you, is that you need to introduce, so this top bun is considered your signal phrase, and then you insert the borrowed material, either quoting, summarizing, or paraphrasing, and then you provide your in-text citation as citing the source, and it creates this sandwich inside of your essay. Unfortunately, that's something that these sample essays didn't provide the best example for. But let's look at, okay, so this is the last part of your sandwich. It's your in-text citation, and this covers you for one sentence. It tells me that the previous sentence comes from the source. But it kind of looks like this whole thing is coming from that source. So to tell me that, at the beginning, you need to signal and then provide the source material and then provide the in-text citation, if that makes sense. And it's okay if you sort of fumble through this at first. We're being acquainted with this style. Just know that by the end of the quarter, you really need to be skilled with these three kinds of attribution in order to, 1, prevent plagiarism or accusations of plagiarism, and 2, present a really strong academic voice and style to prepare you for the college writing that you have in this class and ahead of you. Okay, so if questions remain, here are 4 tips for you. Google whatever I just brought up in this video. Find out more on your own. 2, you can send me an email, of course, through Canvas or the campus email. You could go into the library and ask for help from a research librarian. They're experts at these concepts that I just discussed in the video, or meet with a tutor, which it's best to meet with a tutor for the content of your essay, but they can certainly provide guidance with these concepts as well.